All right, let's go over Signals, probably our most powerful and popular feature. Now, Signals is an incredible way to go through support tickets, CSVs, surveys, Slack messages, calls, sales calls, onboarding calls, internal meetings, external meetings, really all of your data in one place. Now, the problem when you start uploading a lot of data to one place is, okay, now you just have more data in more places, and it's not any easier to actually go through or get a specific answer. That's where Signals comes in. We have automatically gone through all of your company and customer knowledge to turn those into signals. We also automatically extract things like, was this an internal or external signal? Was this a signal related to a specific topic, keyword? Maybe there was a customer on it. Maybe there wasn't a customer on it. And so we do all of this extraction automatically. And of course, every single time we use your company's custom context so that every signal is relevant to your product, to your services, to your company, to your customers. So let's go through and show you what this looks like. So to start off, we'll have the extraction type here. So we'll have internal, external. So these are the kind of data sources, and you might be able to filter more in the future where you'll be able to actually see the specific data source. But for now, we have internal and external. Now, what this means is that, was this an internal data source or an external data source? An internal data source is something like your internal calls, maybe your internal Slack messages. External data sources could be calls, but calls with your customers, sales calls, things like that, surveys, intercom, stuff like that. Now, I can see internal has a lot of different extraction types that are automatically done for me. Things like when people are confused, challenge, milestones, priorities, blockers. And we'll come back to this because it's kind of cool. And then the external signals, we have things like improvements, complaints, feature requests, things related to often customer-related issues. Now, you'll see here on the right-hand side, you kind of have a chart that you can filter by the time frame, how often you want to go through that time frame, day, week, month, bar charts, line charts. You can filter by type, sentiment, severity, bias, persona, emotional impact. A lot. There's a lot of data to go through here, and I'm not going to go through every single thing. There's a little bit of exploration for you to do, but I will go through some of the high-level stuff that you should really know. On the left-hand side, under all these signal extraction types, you can obviously select the different extractions. So let's say I wanted to just focus on compliments because this is a video that we're making, so might as well focus on the good stuff. I'll go over, let's say, the last 3 months of compliments. And I can also filter by a specific topic. Now, topics are things that you can add, but we also automatically extract. So if I wanted to, the difference between a topic and a keyword is topic is something like integrations. A keyword is something like Salesforce. So that's how you kind of separate some of these things, but you might find a lot of the times that you might prefer a keyword over a topic or vice versa. But let's look for, if I wanted to, I could search for integrations or a topic like that. I could also filter by a keyword. Now, let's say I wanted to do Salesforce. I could look for specific Salesforce keywords. I can also filter by a tag. Now, again, we add our own tags, but you can also add your own tags to calls. So let's say if I just wanted onboarding calls or something like that. I can also filter by folders. So if I wanted to, I could just say, okay, just show me my integrations folder. I don't want to see everything else. So then I can filter by those folders. Now below, you'll see sentiment, severity, and bias. Sentiment is just that, is the thing that they said positive or negative. This is done by tonality, it's done by the language that they use, and we're pretty good at understanding if they say something in a different language, depending on that dialect, that it might be a positive or negative thing. For example, in America, you might say something like, oh, that's dope, and that could be positive. But in another country, maybe that's negative. So we kind of take that influence to heart. There's also severity. Now, severity is independent of the sentiment. How severe is that impact about what they're saying? So for example, I could say, I really love this product. I would love it even more if you had a Salesforce integration. If not, I couldn't use your tool. Now, the sentiment itself, I didn't use any harsh negative language. It was probably a neutral, maybe minorly negative, but the severity could be urgent. Like if you don't add this today, it's just not going to happen. So that's kind of the difference between severity and sentiment. You also see bias. Bias is really important, particularly when you start importing sales calls. A good mentality to think through bias is something like, you're on a sales call, you ask someone a question like, wouldn't it be great if you had this experience? And they say, yes, that would be incredible. And of course, that's a very leading question. That's part of the sales job. I'm not here to judge. It's just to say that maybe on user research or diving into that stuff, you might not want that to be there. So you can, of course, remove the bias by just unfiltering the bias. And it pulls in the context of what was asked before. We also extract things like persona. So for ourselves, we automatically label things like, are they customers? Are they a partner, like a sales partner? Are they internal? Are they team members? Are they a vendor? But you can add your own people type, and I'll show you that in another video. So you can filter by those as well. But we automatically label people always as team members or customers. You can obviously filter by the companies, the people, an emotional response that a customer might have had, an impact of what they might say might impact your business. So it might impact churn or awareness or collaboration. And then, of course, any metadata that you have from your CRMs that you can filter for in BuildBetter. It's an incredible way of getting through data. Now, on the right-hand side here, you'll see now that we filter by customers, I can now hit the play button and hear it from the horse's mouth. And this person seemed to be very, very excited about kind of what we're doing. You see full transcript access here. You can even write a comment to this signal. So if I wanted to say, hey, Adam, make sure to see this, and I can kind of send this out to him and he'll get a notification. I can even edit the clip if I liked maybe an earlier start point, later start point. I can even generate a user story or engineering ticket. And then, of course, I can filter through any of these properties. Now, let's say, for example, I really like this. I can go into the signal itself. I can obviously write a comment again here, or I could even add a new topic, remove a topic, add a keyword, remove a keyword, change the sentiment, severity, or bias, generate something straight from here, and that's basically it. Now, I can, of course, even add these signals to a folder. So if I want to say like, oh, this is compliments or something like that, I can add it to a folder. I can, of course, do that here. And of course, I can share this with someone. So if you go to the signal itself, just pop it open. There's a little copy signal URL button there, and I can share this with someone. There's a lot more to do with signals, but that's the high level kind of how to go through signals, how to filter through signals, and of course, how to see them. Now, the last little thing I'll show you is if you ever want to create your own signal, you can kind of go to a call itself, you can highlight a section, and you can hit create signal, give it a summary, some context, like what was happening in the call. You can change the topic, keyword, change the severity, sentiment, and hit done. And that's how you create a signal, and of course, how you filter through signals. That's the core of it. Enjoy signals. There's a lot of stuff to do with signals. I'll show you that in other videos, but that's it for now. Talk to you later.